Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you your hosts, Spencer and Laura Williams.
Hey everyone, I'm Spencer.
I'm Laura, and we're married with board games. Let's play a game of Would You Rather.
Okay.
Would you rather die by nuclear bomb or being eaten by zombies?
Neither? Is there another option?
Probably not in real life, but in Outlast Westbrooke, a board game coming to Kickstarter, there is.
Oh, well, now that I'm depressed by my chances of living during the imminent zombie apocalypse, let's take a look at what that third option is, and maybe I'll feel better. Outlast Westbrooke is a team-based zombie survival board game for 2 to 5 players. The game is designed and illustrated by Nathan Thompson and Kevin Markle, and the hope is that it will be published with the help of Kickstarter.
We've been sent a prototype of the game, and that is what our review will be based on. This is not the final game.
So in Outlast, one player takes control of the zombies, while the other player controls a team of 4 survivors hoping to find their way out of Westbrooke, a town overrun with zombies.
But the stakes are high. A nuclear bomb has been deployed to blow up the town, try to get rid of the zombies. So the survivors have to outlast the zombies and escape the town without losing a single survivor.
Ah, that's the third option.
Let's take a closer look at what you'd be backing.
Here is what we were given for Outlast. First thing you'll notice is the board, the town, is made up of a 5x5 grid of tiles. Now when you set up the game, with the exception of the center square, all the other tiles are going to be flipped over and mixed up, and then you'll lay them down randomly. But for the sake of this review, I've gone ahead and flipped them all over just so you can see them all. As a survivor, when you do move and you do explore, when you land on a tile, it's flipped over and revealed what place in town you have found. The gas station has a little key symbol down here, and the hardware store also has that same symbol. What that means is if you find one of those locations, you get to flip over one of these escape cards, and it will show you according to which location you're on. So this one says the hardware store. When you flip that over, you're going to see that you've got a gas can. And so that's one of the 2 items that you need to escape Westbrooke. And then if you were to reveal the other red tile, like the gas station, you'll flip that one over and you'll see that you got gasoline. Once you find both of those items, so notice that there are 2 red tiles that correspond to having an item, and then there are 2 green tiles that correspond to these 2 green escape cards, and then finally there are 2 blue tiles that have that symbol on them that correspond to those 2 blue escape cards. You don't have to find all of them, you just have to find 2 of the same color. And once you find 2 of the same color by exploring, you make your way to the tile of that color with the escape icon. Once you have the items that you need and you make your way to this tile, you've escaped, and the survivors win the game. There is a deck of 6 survivors, and then you will choose 4 randomly. This is the doctor here. He's got lots of health, and that just shows you what you're going to set up. Actually, all of the survivors have the same amount of health, but that's how you're going to set up your peg on the dashboard. Speaking of the dashboard, this is really cool. It keeps track of your item, your weapon, and your survivor. And so what you'll do is you put the peg at the number 1 place right here, or actually that's a 6, so that's where the survivor starts. And as he takes damage, the peg moves down, and then when it gets to 0, that survivor is dead. Over here, it's the same kind of principle with the weapon. Since this is a prototype, it's a little sticky, but the point is the same. It'll start here at 3, or depending on what the weapon is, it might be different. But every time you use a weapon, it goes down, and when it gets to 0, your weapon breaks, and you have to throw it away. Now let's get to the zombie player. The zombie player also has their own dashboard. It's a little bit smaller, but it's the same basic principle. The zombie player will be controlling normal zombies, but also a special mutated zombie called the Juggernaut. While the regular zombies do not have health, he does. And so, like the survivors, his peg is going to start here. And then if you can draw zombie cards, and those will be kept here in these 3 slots. Here's the Juggernaut token. This person The Juggernaut can move one space at a time on the zombie player's turn. The zombie player will also be putting out zombie tokens. On one side of these, there is a number. So you've got 5, 1, 1, 3. So there's between 1 and 5 on these tokens. And the zombie player will be placing these down, and that's the number of zombies on a space. If a zombie player places that down right there, and the survivors step on that space, they're going to be confronted with 4 zombies. That's pretty neat that the total number of zombies are kept a secret until the players step on that tile. At the end of each survivor turn, they're going to draw a card, and it's based on what phase you're in. And the phases are separated by this tracker over here. It's the hours remaining in the game until the bomb comes. So you've got a little bomb token here that is going to come down each time around is over. It's going to come down, and notice there are different colors. Those are the different phases. So this is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So depending on where the bomb is, that shows you which card you're going to draw. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And these cards are different things that can help out. Like you've got a med kit that will heal, +2 health. Got binoculars that secretly reveal any one tile. That's pretty cool. Riot shield. Back alley allows you to move diagonally. And just so on. Different cards and different stacks to help the humans. The zombies will also be drawing cards. They have the same principle. Over here, there are 3 zombie decks for phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. And at the end of each zombie turn, they'll be drawing a card. Combat is pretty simple. The zombie player will roll dice depending on how many zombies are in the space that the survivors have encountered. On a dice, there are 3 symbols. There's a machete symbol, there is a shield symbol, and then there is a miss symbol. And like I said, the zombie players will roll as many dice as there are zombies in that space, and the survivors will roll 1 die per survivor. Another type of icon to be aware of on these tiles is this one right here. It's a little box. That means that there are a few items that are location specific. So you know that if you find the police station over here, there's a corresponding card. So at the police station, you will get the shotgun. Also, you've got the the hospital. Of course, at the hospital, you're going to find a mega med kit. That's pretty cool. And then at the pawn shop, you're going to find a revolver. All of these are items that are really going to help you out. As I mentioned, the game is over once the survivors explore the map and find the appropriate items and then the exit. That's how they win. Or the zombie player wins if they kill one survivor, or the bomb gets down to blow up. Let's get to talking about the game. First, we'll start with game style, just to give you an overview of what you can expect, the type of game this is. It really reminded us of like Forbidden Desert or Burgle Brothers, because you're flipping over tiles, you don't know where anything is, you're trying to find things.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And the Burgle Brothers in that, like in our game, the Juggernaut moves around kind of like the guard on the floor.
Right, exactly. And then, you're trying to find, specific items and you don't know where they are, so you're going around blind, basically, trying to flip over tiles, find those things. So that's where we see the similarities. When it comes down to the rules we were sent needed updating, and we did speak with the creators, and they said that they will have a revamped rule book for this Kickstarter. All that to be said, though, once we got the gist of the game and how it worked, it's very easy.
Oh yeah, we got rolling
because of the dice. Okay. When I learned how to play it didn't take me long to teach Laura. We brought some friends into play. It didn't take them long to grasp it, so it's very easy to learn.
Definitely.
One thing that you need to keep in mind with this game is there is a lot of randomness, because when you set up the board, you're mixing up those tiles, and the tiles that you need, you never know where they're going to be.
You can say you need to go in with a strategy, but there's only so far that strategy will go.
Right.
And then blind luck kicks in.
Right.
Like one game that we played, I kept all 4 of my survivors. Yeah, so when we were playing the 2-player game, I was playing all of the survivors at once, and he was playing the zombies. And I kept my survivors all together. We didn't get to cover much ground, but we stayed alive because we were able to fight off zombies. But we didn't make it.
Right.
Then when we had some other players come in and play with us, when we did a 5-player game, the survivors broke off immediately. And we were able to cover more ground, and we found our stuff that we needed, but we weren't able to make it back because of all of the zombies, and we were not able to make it. One of our survivors died because of that.
Right. So even if you think you can spread out and get what you need, there's still a difficulty there with a balance of fighting the zombies and also exploring the map. Another element of randomness is the combat is all dice-based. You do have...
Yes.
You do have some cards that help you, give you more points towards your combat or your defense, but it essentially comes down to rolling dice, so more randomness there. If that doesn't bother you, no big deal. I just thought we would want to let you know about that. Something else of note that we noticed is the zombie side is very powerful. Not to the point to where it ruins the game, but it is something, again, to be aware of to craft your strategy. You got to be very strategic about how soon you split apart, like Lara was talking about, how long you want to keep your survivors together.
Even how you want to divvy up items that you find, because you do find weapons, like you mentioned, that help your combat.
Right.
And you might have somebody who is strong on their own and might not need a weapon as badly as another survivor who isn't that strong.
Right.
So it's pretty intricate, honestly.
Yes, it
but
really
is.
is.
Again, it's not hard to learn. It's just that when you start thinking about it, there are lots of different variables that go into how well is this going to turn out for us.
Well, and because of those variables, the play time itself is very variable. If you split up too soon and then the zombies can pick off the survivors, then the game can be over pretty quick.
Well, as soon as one survivor dies, game's over, right?
Right, that's true.
Yeah, so as soon as one survivor dies, you're done. Otherwise, you go 12 rounds.
Right.
You have 12 hours until that nuke.
Yeah.
Until the bomb comes in.
Yeah, or, of course, if you find the items you're looking for and escape before those 12 hours.
Man, can you imagine, finding that stuff, bam, 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 you split.
That'd be pretty sweet.
That'd be cool. Unless you're the zombies.
No, that'd be bad.
Yeah.
We'll talk about player count. We've played a couple of different variations. As a 2-player game, because, as we mentioned, you have to play with 4 survivors, regardless of how many people are playing.
Yes, and we both took turns of being survivors and zombies, and it's kind of hard to keep up with all of these survivors for just a little mini.
Right, so one person has to keep up with 4 survivors. If you're looking for a challenge, that might be a thing for you. But it is definitely challenging to keep up with the 4 survivors and everything that's going on with them. Mm-hmm. But then once you increase the player count, it evens out much better. It's a lot better to work with. And
much more manageable.
Manageable and good cooperative experience too. We really like the artwork.
Oh, yeah. It's great. That's one of the first things one of our friends said was, wow, look at that.
Yeah, it's neat. I don't know how you would classify it, but I think it fits the game perfectly. So that's really cool. Mm-hmm. Talk about the components. Again, since this is a prototype that's not final, and these are all made from a 3D printer, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'd never seen or felt or touched anything from a 3D printer, so I was pretty impressed.
Well, now you have.
Yeah.
What's really
off the list.
Yeah. What's really cool are the dashboards. We thought that was a really neat way to manage your survivor card, your items, and your health and your weapon limits.
Well, especially because you're having to keep up with specific things as far as like you said, your health and your weapon limits. Your weapon can break.
Right.
After so many uses. So having these pegs to move makes that easier to keep up with.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's nice to have that, and it helps you keep in mind and keep things up where you can see them so they don't get lost just laying down.
Well, exactly. And like other games will have tokens to show you how many health you have or how many more times you can use your weapon, but those just kind of get all over the place. So this is really neat to have that all in one place. Another thing that the game comes with is that 4-player standee where all the figures fit together. It's cool.
It's great if...
It's a neat concept. They're magnetic.
Yeah.
Since all 4 of the survivors start in the same place, that's a great idea. Yeah, make one little thing for them to all stay together. But then what if you break off?
Yeah, once you split up, there's not really a need for it.
Or even if you do stay together, they made the pieces so that it's not that hard to just move them all together.
Right.
Without needing that thing.
So it's not really necessary, but it is cool.
Cool concept.
Yeah. So really what it comes down to is if you're looking for a simple zombie game with lots of combat and tension, I would definitely consider backing this one. While we can't recommend Outlast as a 2-player game, it does have its place for higher player counts.
And as easy as it is to teach and begin playing, we think it would be a good game to get new players into the hobby, especially if they're drawn to the zombie survival genre.
So for more experienced and strategic players, this might not be your particular cup of tea, unless this fills a niche you're particularly looking for.
However, we did enjoy our plays of Outlast and hope to see it successful on Kickstarter. We know there is an audience for this game out there, and they will be very happy with it.
Now, if you have any questions about our thoughts on Outlast or want us to explain something in more detail, we'd be happy to chat. Just contact us on Twitter or Instagram at MarriedWithBG or visit our website, marriedwithbg.com. All of our contact information is there.
Thanks for watching, and we gotta run. We have a bomb to outlast.
We do!